Welcome to this video where we're going to talk about electricity.
For those wondering, yes, I'm customizing the set. There are small lamps on each side, a tube light here I still need to install up there, and another meant to go underneath. Anyway, I want some color in this set, and through an app I can change everything. Create moods, automations, switch from red to blue, from green to yellow. I do whatever I want, I'll tell you more about it soon. As for now, I'm in the attic running electrical lines for the future rooms, and I'm going to install a secondary panel, so of course installing the secondary panel. I'll film everything for you, but for now I'll use what I have to show how to install a switch, 2 switches as a two-way, and 3 switches with an intermediate switch. Knowing that, to connect 3 switches, you can also use a double switch. Remove the 2 buttons, and if you have an old switch that's not being used, you take the button, put it on the double switch, and you'll be able to connect 3 switches. And speaking of double switches, we'll look at double lighting in a moment, so we're going to connect to a 10A circuit breaker and use 1.5 mm2 wire. You should know that there are 2 colors you absolutely have to respect. Blue for neutral and yellow-green for ground. And for the phase, we mainly use red, but you can also use brown or black. Now, if you have an orange or purple wire for your phase, it's not a big deal. It's allowed, but it's better to use red, brown, or black. And for the travelers, people will tell you they absolutely have to be the same color, but that's not true. Some people make the travelers the same color because that's how they were taught, so that's what they do. There is no requirement regarding the colors of the travelers. If it's easier for you to use all the same colors or different colors, then just do what works best for you and your own logic. We have several wirings to complete, including a double switch. I'll use specific colors for the travelers. And depending on your logic, let me know in the comments if you would have used all the same colors or different colors. So, for the travelers, you can use whatever color you want. However, there are 2 colors, as I told you, that you absolutely have to respect, neutral in blue and ground in green-yellow. So for the demo, I'm going to use the Duxie range from Legrand, but it could be Schneider, Hager, whatever the brand. On the back, you'll find the wiring diagram and the front terminal marked in red or labeled L. For the demo, we'll use this spotlight. It could be a junction box, neon light, tube light, floodlight, anything we can connect and make light up. This spotlight lacks a ground terminal, but if your fixture has one, be sure to connect it. I'll repeat this for every connection. There's no ground, I won't connect it since it's plastic, and if your fixture has a ground, connect it. I'll repeat myself every time because there's always someone clever who will comment about it, and it's the same with safety. I'll repeat myself every time. We turn off the power to ensure safety, especially if someone skips the video and misses my warning at the start. This is even more important when working with a team on a job site. Locking out the circuit breaker or the residual current device is highly recommended. If you don't want to get a shock, I'll soon demonstrate locking out a residual current device or circuit breaker. Either works, but I don't recommend this model, and you'll see why. At the end of the video, I'll connect some floodlights in the garden since it's getting dark earlier and my dog needs to see where he's peeing.
It's little,
It's a
Bit.
So, if you like my videos, the best way to support me is to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell to get new videos, and give a big thumbs up. You can also follow me on Instagram by subscribing. I post photos and videos regularly. So, let's imagine I want to lock my residual current device or this circuit breaker. I turn off the power, take the device and put it on the residual current device or the circuit breaker. We screw it in, but there's no need to tighten it like crazy, just enough in the direction we're tightening. Then I put the padlock on as well.
Let me remind you that if you don't find the clue, the key will fall into the sea.
I got the key back, everything's fine.
Bastard!
And here, you might think we're safe since I can't turn the power back on. It's banging against this part, we can't go any further. So, the system from Master Lock, you might think it's good. But as soon as I can do this, you see I removed the part that's here, it's right there. Is it the Master Lock system that's not good? Or is it the circuit breakers that have a problem? Or the residual current devices? I don't know. But now I can turn the power back on. I could even try to turn it back on. There, I put it back on. So this system, really, it's more visual than anything else. When you see this, you think you shouldn't touch anything. It's locked, but as soon as you can do this, turn the power back on. Obviously, there's a danger. I have the best system and will find it since I don't remember where I put it. It's a pin system that comes in. You see, on each side there are holes. You put the pins in. Of course, the power is off. You put the pins in, you put the padlock on, and it's locked. You can't lift it anymore, but for me there's a problem with this system, but otherwise it works. Look, I put it back, you think it's locked, it's padlocked. Visually, you think, oh, someone's working on it, so I won't touch it, but there you go. Night, day, night. So the goal is to start from a 10 amp circuit breaker. We pull the wires through the conduit, we arrive at the flush mounted box, the switch, and then we go to a light point, which is represented by a spotlight. It could be a neon light, whatever you want. So, of course, to work safely, we cut the power, so then we'll run 3 wires through a conduit. I have the yellow and green one, which is for the ground. It's mandatory for it to be this color. The blue one for the neutral, it's mandatory for it to be blue, and the red one is for the ground. Knowing that I could use black, brown, purple, or orange. For the phase, you can choose any color you want, but generally we always choose red, brown, or black. So we pass them through our sheath, and once they've reached the flush mounted box, we pull on them to catch them. So we end up with the phase wire, the ground wire, and the neutral wire. For now, we set the phase aside. What we're interested in here is the neutral wire and the ground, and to run them up to the light fixture. So we have 2 options. Either you have a very long distance and you think it's going to be complicated to pull the ground wire and the neutral wire all at once. So we cut it, we put in a quick connector, and of course we continue with a neutral wire and a ground wire, or we can run them all at once. So that's what I'm going to do. Given the length, it would be a shame to cut them. So in this conduit, I'm going to run a 3rd wire, which will be purple. It could be orange, brown, black, whatever color, except blue, since that's neutral, and yellow-green, which is ground. Logically, we could run another red wire and say that it's the continuation of this wire here. Except for my lamp return, we'll connect it to a different terminal instead of the phase terminal, so we change 2 colors. I'm running it through my conduit. I catch it. And at our switch, we have both our phase and our lamp return. And at the lamp, we're going to connect the lamp return to the phase terminal. The blue wire goes to the neutral terminal, and the ground wire, if you have a ground terminal. So now we can connect our switch. Let's turn it over. Whether it's the big Schneider or any other brand, they try to make it user-friendly. We have the phase terminal, which is shown in red, terminal number 1, terminal number 2, and the wiring diagram, so you can't go wrong. We take the phase wire coming from the circuit breaker wire that's red, and we connect it to the phase terminal. Next, we take the lamp return wire, which is purple, and connect it to terminal 1. And that's all we have to do. At the switch, with the switch connected, we can now connect our wires. At the light point, the purple wire is the lamp return, which is connected to terminal 1 of the switch. We will connect it to the phase terminal of the light point. The neutral wire, which is blue, will be connected to the neutral terminal of the light point. For the ground wire, since there's no ground terminal, we'll use a quick connector. So the purple wire goes to the phase terminal of the light point, and the neutral wire goes to the neutral terminal. That's all there is to do for the light point. The ground wire, I don't have a ground terminal on my spotlight, it's all plastic. If you have a spotlight with a ground terminal, you need to connect the ground wire, but always run the wire anyway, even if you don't connect it. Here, I use a quick connector and it stays ready. If you ever replace your fixture or spotlight and need a ground terminal, you'll be glad you have the wire. And you won't have to bother running it through the conduit again, you just need to strip the wires, nothing special, it does itself with a wire stripper. For those wondering, yes, it's an insulated wire stripper, but that doesn't mean you should work with the power on. But just know that it exists. I'll be able to connect my neutral wire and my phase wire. And on the circuit breaker, the neutral terminal is on the left, represented by the letter N. I colored it on purpose, you can see that here it's not colored, so you can see it. So we connect it to the neutral terminal and screw it in, and right next to the neutral terminal we have the phase terminal, so it's still 1.5 mm2, so I connect my phase wire. So your ground terminal block is either screw type or quick connect. If it's screw type, you put your wire in and screw it down. Mine is quick connect. So I put it in, push it all the way in, and it's tight, so I've turned the power back on. And if I press the switch, it works. So we started from a 10A circuit breaker, the red wire for the phase, the blue for the neutral, and the yellow and green wire for the ground. We run all of that through a conduit. We arrive at the flush mounted box. The red wire goes directly to the phase of the switch, the blue wire and the yellow-green wire go directly to the light fixture and the purple wire. So that's my lamp return wire that goes from the switch to the light fixture.
I go, and I come back.
We've connected a switch, we have our light fixture, everything's fine. The goal now is to connect a second switch to create a two-way switch. We're going to run 2 wires through this conduit to create travelers. We'll disconnect the lamp return, connect it to the second switch, and create a two-way switch. So, to work safely, we turn off the power. Now, on my switch from earlier, I still have the red wire, which is the live wire that's connected to the live terminal of the switch. The purple wire is the lamp return that goes to the light fixture. We don't touch anything at the light fixture, it stays as it is. We bring in a second switch. I'm going to disconnect the lamp return that's on terminal 1 of the first switch and reconnect it to the live terminal of the second switch. Then we'll connect the 2 switches by running 2 wires through this conduit. These are travelers, so I'm going to tap from terminal 1 of the first switch to terminal 1 of the second switch, and I'll do the same for terminal 2 of the first switch. A wire will also be connected to terminal 2 of the second switch, and it will work. For the travelers, I'll use orange wire. It could be black or brown, the color doesn't matter. As long as the switches are wired right, the color isn't important. Now not blue, the blue is neutral, the red is my phase, and the purple is my lamp return. But if I had used orange for the lamp return, I could use purple for the travelers. So, you take whatever color you want, from terminal 1 to terminal 1 orange, from terminal 2 to terminal 2 orange, you use the same color. Now, for the sake of the video, we're going to separate the colors, from terminal 1 to terminal 1 orange, and from terminal 2 to terminal 2 brown. This way, you'll see the difference between the shuttles and the wiring diagram more clearly. So, on my first switch, the idea is to take the lamp return, which is in purple, and run it back through this conduit to reach the second switch. So I press, I take it, and we set it aside. So my lamp return, the purple wire has reached the second switch. Now the goal is to run the 2 traveler wires through this conduit to connect the 2 switches. At my first switch, the red live wire is still connected to the phase terminal. I have a terminal 1, a terminal 2. On terminal 1, let's say we put, well, the brown wire, and on terminal 2, I have no other choice. I put the orange wire C. And that's all there is to do. For this switch and for the second switch, it's exactly the same thing. The orange wire on terminal number 2, the brown wire on terminal number 1. We take the brown wire, we put it on terminal number 1, and on the phase, we take the lamp return and connect it to the phase terminal. It's as simple as that. We can now test. I can turn it on with one switch, off with the other, and repeat this with either switch. From the 10A circuit breaker, the neutral, the phase, the ground, there you go, the little sheath that fits well into the flush mounted box, the neutral directly to the light point, the ground. I haven't connected it. I'll explain why. The phase on the first switch, the travelers between the two. Position 1 with a brown or orange wire. Position 2 with a wire of the same color, or you can use wires of different colors. And my lamp return comes from the phase
from the second switch to the light point.
We just saw how to install a two-way switch on an existing switch. To clarify, we'll now recreate the installation from scratch. By wiring a two-way switch, then, we will pull the neutral, the ground, the phase, and connect a two-way switch. An important step is to turn off the power. The idea is to run the 3 wires, ground, phase, and neutral, through the conduit and bring them up to the mounting box. So, we have our 3 wires that have arrived in the first mounting box, neutral, ground. The goal is to connect the 2 switches. This time I'll run my travelers and I'll use the same color for them, orange. And my lamp return wire, which will be purple, and the lamp return will go back up to the light fixture, along with the neutral and the ground. So we run the ground, the neutral, and the lamp return wire through the conduit and we pull them through. And then, in the first junction box, I end up with my phase wire, which is connected directly to the 10A circuit breaker. So, that's the red wire, my 2 travelers in orange, and in the second junction box, my 2 travelers in orange. And the switched live, which is purple at the light fixture, I have my switched live in purple, my neutral in blue, and my ground. So, So we take the first switch, we turn it over. We have the phase terminal, which is shown in red. So we take the phase wire and connect it to the phase terminal. One traveler wire that will connect to terminal number 1 and the other to terminal number 2. And for the second switch, it's exactly the same thing. This time we turn it over and connect the lamp return wire, which is purple, to the phase terminal. One traveler wire to terminal number 1 and the last one to terminal number 2. Number 2. On the first switch, my phase wire from the circuit breaker connects to the switch's phase terminal. On the second switch, the lamp return wire connects to its phase terminal. Next, from terminal 1 of the first switch to terminal 1 of the second switch, I have my traveler wire with the orange wire, and from terminal 2 of the first switch to terminal 2 of the second switch, a traveler with an orange wire. So, you can use wires of the same color, but if it makes more sense to you to use wires of different colors. For example, orange for terminal 1 and another color for terminal 2, you can do that. And regarding the light point, we take the neutral wire and connect it to the neutral terminal. And the purple wire, which is my lamp return, to the phase terminal. I don't connect the ground because my spotlight is plastic, but if your device has a ground terminal, you should connect it. And, just like earlier, the neutral on the left and then the phase next to it. And then you connect the ground wire. And so, now, let's check if it works. First switch perfect, the second one, the two-way switch works. I can turn it on from here, turn it off from there, turn it on, turn it off, whichever way you want.
The green wire on the green button, the red wire on the button.
The switches are connected. We've set up our two-way switch. Everything works now. If I want to add a third switch, we'll use the changeover switch solution. We have the wiring diagram right here. We're going to install it. You'll see that it works. But for me, the best solution is still the remote switch, and we'll see that in a moment. And so, of course, the most important thing is to turn off the power. First, we'll disconnect the travelers on the initial switch. And we do the same thing on the second one. I removed the travelers, cut my wires, and prepared everything. Imagine there's a conduit. This is just a demo. Right now, the phase wire is still connected to the first switch's phase terminal. So the wire, the lamp return in purple, is connected to the phase terminal of the second switch. So on the first switch, I'm going to take the brown wire and put it on terminal 1, and an orange wire on terminal number 2. And for the second switch, it's exactly the same. An orange wire on terminal number 2. And a brown wire on terminal number 1. And so for now, we've connected a brown wire to terminal 1 of the first switch and a brown wire to terminal 1 of the second switch. An orange wire on terminal 2 of the first switch and an orange wire on terminal 2 of the second switch. I haven't touched the phase wire, which is still connected to the phase terminal on the first switch and on the second. I still have my purple wire, which is the lamp return wire, connected to the phase terminal. So, we're going to be able to wire the crossover switch. These are screw terminals, not quick connect terminals like on the Fiat model, but that's okay. You just have to screw it in, it'll work. So I take the first switch, the brown wire that I put on terminal 1, we're going to connect it to phase 1 on the crossover switch. And then the orange wire that we connected to terminal 2 of the first switch, we connect it to phase 2 of the crossover switch, and that's it. For the first switch and the crossover switch, that's done. Now let's move on to the second switch on the second switch. The brown wire that's connected to terminal 1, we connected to terminal 3 of the crossover switch. Next, we have the orange wire that's connected to terminal 2 of the second switch, which will connect to terminal 4 of the crossover switch. The wiring of the crossover switch is done. In the end, what did we do? We started from the first switch. A brown wire from terminal 1 to phase 1 of the crossover switch, an orange wire from terminal 2 of the first switch to phase 2 of the crossover switch. Second switch, brown wire from terminal 1 to terminal 3 of the crossover switch, orange wire from terminal 2 to terminal 4 of the crossover switch. Again, you can use whatever colors you want. There, I put in screws, as you saw, because otherwise it moves around everywhere. It's not practical. I'll remove the screws and we'll see if it works. Come on, let's check if it works. First switch, I turn it on, I turn it off, it works. The second one, I turn it on, I turn it off, it works. I can turn it on or off from either place, it works, and the changeover switch is centered. It works. I can turn it off from here, turn it back on from there, turn it off from here, turn it back on from there. Everything works day, night. You know the story. I suggest we reinstall everything as if it's a new setup. Earlier we used existing two-way switches, but now let's assume we're installing two switches and a changeover switch. Wires run through the conduits. The purple wire is the return from the lamp, but you can use any color. The neutral wire is blue, it always stays blue as I told you, and green-yellow is for the ground. We bring all of this to the light fixture. We'll connect everything in a moment. We have the phase wire running, which is connected to the 10 amp breaker, just like the neutral. Everything runs through the conduits, only the connections remain. To start, we take the phase wire, which is red, and connect it to the first switch to the phase terminal that's marked in red. Then we take a wire of a different color. Earlier it was brown on terminal 1. This time I'll use the color orange. And we tap into phase 1 of the changeover switch. Then a wire of another color, this time brown, terminal 2 of the first switch, and we connect it to phase 2 of the changeover switch. This time we are facing the second switch. I take the purple wire, which is the return wire, and I connect it to terminal 2 phase, and just like on the first switch, I choose the orange wire. For terminal number 1, which will be connected to terminal 3 of the crossover switch. And finally, for terminal number 2 of the second switch, I connect it to terminal 4 of the crossover switch, and that's it. And what about the light point? We take the purple wire, which is the switched return, to the phase terminal, and the blue wire, that's the neutral on terminal 2 neutral, the ground wire. Do you know its story? Alright, let's do the test anyway, but you know it works very well. There, we turn it off, we turn it on, off, on, it works in every direction.
Double madame, double damage.
So, this time we're going to install a double switch. The advantage of the double switch is that I'm going to win. In place, compared to two standard switches, a flush mounted box, a double switch. I don't need these two. I'll be able to control two light points which can be in the same room, or they could be in two different rooms. Let's imagine they're in the same room. I control my ceiling light, I control a wall lamp, and if it's two different rooms, I control, for example, a hallway, a restroom, or a bathroom. And of course, for safety, we turn off the power. Then we'll run 3 wires through a conduit. I have the yellow and green one, which is for the ground. It's mandatory for them to be colored blue for the neutral. It's mandatory for it to be blue and red. That's for the phase, knowing that I could use black, brown, purple, or orange for the phase. You can choose any color you want, but generally we always pick red, brown, or black. So we run them through our sheath. Once they reach the flush mounted box, we pull them to catch them. So I have my phase and my other wire in my flush mounted box. Now I'm going to run my wires back through these two sheets. For the light points, I run the wires. So I have my lamp return, which will be in purple, my ground and the neutral. And for the other light point, the ground and the lamp return. I chose orange, but it could be purple for both. It could be orange for both. Do as you like. And the neutral. So then we connect all the neutral wires together with a quick connector or a terminal block. We do the same for the ground wire. So in the flush mounted box, we've connected all the blue wires, so the neutrals together, all the ground wires together. We set them aside, we don't need them anymore, and we're left with the red wire, which is the phase coming from the 10 amp circuit breaker. The orange wire is the lamp return from one light point, and the purple wire is from the other. We can now connect them to our double switch. We turn it over and we find the phase, which is shown in red. So we take the phase wire and connect it to the phase terminal to supply the other phase. I'm simply going to make a bridge with a small piece of wire. And so now my second phase is powered. On the double switch, there are terminals 1A, 1B, 2A, and 2B. I'm not dealing with terminals 2A and 2B today. We'll see that in another video where we can make a double two-way switch. Here, what interests me is to take one of the lamp returns, for example, the purple one, and connect it to terminal 1A. All that's left is the orange wire, which I just connect to terminal 1B. And then I will connect the light points. I will take one of the lamp returns, the purple one, and connect it to the phase terminal. The blue wire is the neutral, so we connect it to the neutral terminal. I don't connect the ground wire since my spotlight is plastic. For the other light point, the process is the same. Take the lamp return, the orange wire, and connect it to the phase terminal. And then the neutral to the neutral. And just like earlier, the left neutral, and then the phase next to it. And there you go. We connect the ground wire. We start from a 10A circuit breaker, neutral and phase, the ground is connected, the conduit. Junction box, in the junction box we have the phase, the neutral, the ground from the light fixtures. We pull the ground, the neutral. The lamp return comes into the junction box. We bring the phase to the phase terminal of the double switch. We make a bridge to the other phase terminal. And then the lamp returns go to terminal 1A and 1B. So does it work? The one on the left works, the one on the right works, and I can turn everything on or I can turn everything off. Be sure to use deep enough mounting boxes to fit the 3 ground wires, 3 neutral wires, lamp returns, phase, and double switch. So it can be tricky to fit all that into a box. Now I'm going to show a technique to have only the lamp return, the phase, and the double switch, and not be bothered by the 3 neutral wires. I gained some space in the flush mounted box. Now I just have to put in the lamp returns, the phase, the double switch, the neutral and ground wires go through the conduits. So I'll show you that it works. Everything is connected. It runs right here. You see, you just need to extend the wires. So the advantage is that you save space. The downside is that you use more wire. You just need to put a junction box next to the panel, or why not, even the ground wires. You could connect them directly to the ground terminal block. If you have enough space, only the neutral wires would be left, and I can put them either in the panel or in the junction box. Alright, we're done with the switches. In a future video, we'll cover the remote switch, illuminated switch with indicator, and the double two-way switch. For now, let's focus on the floodlight. So, this model has a sensor. I need to mount it on my garden shed, but I have siding. James Hardy is done, so I'll install it later. For now, we're going to install the same model, but without a sensor, which will be connected to a switch. I'll fast forward through this since wiring isn't complicated, then we'll return for a recap. The floodlights are installed and working. First I put it in upside down, then correctly. The issue is when you tilt the spotlight, it automatically lifts up. And the top touches the paneling, so it's LED, it doesn't heat up at all. But I still prefer to have air circulating all around it. Because if one day it starts to heat up for whatever reason, it's going to burn the top of the paneling, especially since it's polyvinyl chloride paneling, so it'll melt, it'll drip onto the spotlight, and that wouldn't be good at all. What would have been nice from Philips is if they had made us a bracket, because here you say yes, it fits, but as soon as I tilt my spotlight, of course, it lifts it up. So a bracket, let's say about 1 or 2 centimeters higher, and especially the mounting points should be centered, because right now they're offset, and by centering them I could go all the way around with my bracket. But overall, whether it's Philips or Osram, the quality is great. You can trust it completely. I'll make a video for you. At night, it lights up like daytime. And for those who are wondering, as for the junction box that's in the attic, I'm leaving it as it is. In the meantime, since I'm redoing the electrical work and later the flooring, it will end up above the floor, so I'll have easy access to it. Alright, this video is now over. I really thank you for watching it. Feel free to share it, leave a comment, give it a big thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit the little notification bell as well. We'll see each other soon for more videos. In the meantime, take care and see you very soon. Ciao.